I'm the community chaplain with Jewish Family Service, and I work with Faith Presbyterian Hospice. Thank you for your attention for a few minutes. Hospice asked me to share some thoughts with you. I hope this finds all of you well, as we're now well into the spring, and we are enjoying the spring type weather. Springtime is also the time of year for a very important Jewish holiday, Passover. In fact, as I am recording this, Passover is only a few days away. Passover, of course, which represents the time when the Israelites left slavery, left the land of bondage, left Egypt, and became a nation. After many years of servitude in Egypt, the Israelites were physically enslaved, psychologically, emotionally. Through the intervention of the Almighty, following the 10 plagues, the people go to freedom. In fact, one other name for the holiday is the time of our freedom. And I think the concept of freedom is certainly something that everyone, every person can relate to. Thank God we all live in a free country, and we're able to practice whatever faith we belong to in the open, to be proud of our faith. Freedom is a very important thing. I would just note that the biblical or Jewish definition of freedom is really very different than the definition of freedom in Western culture. In Western culture in America, the definition of freedom is do whatever you want, provided it doesn't negatively impact another person. The Jewish definition of freedom is different. It is that we recognize that we have a spectrum of choices in front of us, but a person says, I make a conscious decision to live my life a certain way. The rabbis teach us that who is the one who is truly heroic? The person who can overcome his inclination, the person who can say, I'm pulled in this direction. I'd love to be an embezzler of money. I'd love to be a bank robber, but I decide to live my life in a moral, ethical fashion. That's the person who's really free. The person who has to give in to his impulses, cannot control himself in whatever arena, that person is really not free. And so for all the years that the Israelites were slaves in Egypt, the Pharaoh gave them matzah, the unleavened bread to eat. It's a food that has just the most basic of ingredients, flour and water. It takes the least amount of time to bake. You put it into the oven and that's it. You don't let the flour ferment. So all the years that the Israelites were slaves, matzah was their bread of affliction, was a poor man's bread. As the Bible tells us in the book of Exodus, the Israelites were rushed out of Egypt by the Egyptians. There was not time for the dough to rise, and so they quickly had to put the food into the oven, and now matzah was transformed into the bread of freedom. The first 2 nights of the holiday, we celebrate what's called the Passover Seder, the Passover order, a special celebration. We sit around the table with family and friends, and matzah becomes the bread of freedom. That's what our ancestors ate when they left Egypt. But the rabbis felt it very important that in order to fully appreciate freedom, you also have to read about, talk about, and experience as much as you can slavery. And so an important part of the Passover Seder celebration is the eating of maror, the bitter herbs. Some people use romaine lettuce. Some people eat ground up pieces of horseradish root. not a very pleasant experience. And that's precisely what it's supposed to be. It's supposed to give us literally a taste of bitterness in order for us to appreciate more so the freedom that we have. And that's an important lesson that we should all in our daily lives appreciate the blessings that God bestows upon us, the freedom that we have in this country. This year, Passover runs concurrently with the Muslim holiday of Ramadan. On the eighth day of Passover, I think it's Sunday, April 20th, is Easter Sunday. Whatever faith a person practices, I wish you a happy holiday. I always say this is the time of year when it doesn't pay to be an atheist. No holidays. So I wish you all a happy holiday season. May we all enjoy the blessings from the Almighty and their blessings for our beloved country. Thank you and shalom.